So check this out, people. So I'm back, right? I'm back because I go on YouTube and I see these.
Half a mile. Use the right lane to stay to the right. Then use the right lane to stay to the right to I-84 West toward Hartford.
Frankly, I'm tired of going on YouTube, right, and still seeing these guys.
Stay to the right to exit 5C, I-84 West, toward Hartford, to I-384. Then use the right lane to stay to the right to I-84 West, toward Hartford.
I'm tired of seeing these guys, right? I go on YouTube and then I search AMC, and the guys who used to come up no longer come up, right? The older guys, the guys who were first
here. Use the right lane to stay to the right to I-84 West, toward Hartford.
The guys who were originally here during this whole original squeeze, right? Where it went from the GME squeeze to this whole MOAS nonsense, right? You had Rico, you had TMI, you had Short the Vix, you had Review Toy, you had Trace Trades, Lou versus Wall Street. You know, you had all the old school guys who, whether they pumped up AMC or GME or not, right? They were followers, right? They had their channels, they were part of the Apes, right? You had the Ape Father, you had John Sniping, Teddy Zane, you had, you know, Phil For Real. You had all these guys that I just mentioned as scammers, but not all these guys, not all the apes were scammers. They were just simply a bunch of guys who got scammed, right?
2.8 miles. Exit left to exit 57, State Route 15 South, to I-91 South toward Charter Oak Bridge, New York City.
So, you know, a lot of these apes believed in the movement. They believed in it, and so they became apes, right? So you would think that the apes, right, because we all know what the apes represent. They represent a group of people who buy and hold. You have the bears who believe that the market is going down. You have the bulls who believe that the market is going up. And then you have the apes who could care less. They're just going to hold, right? So zero. That was the core back then, right? I remember the apes calling for the MOAS or zero. And we all know what happened, right? We all know that a lot of people sold and a lot of idiots held to zero and lost it all, right? They refused to learn. They refused to train themselves. They simply went onto YouTube and listened to idiots who know nothing about the market, right? Nothing at all. And so you go on to some of these apes channels and you will find that most of them are gone, right? You'll find that their channels have been deleted or changed, like Scavenger Stonks, who completely deleted his channel. You have other, you know, apes who did the same. And so those who believed in this whole nonsense and believed in this hype, right, who weren't apes, who simply were buying into the AMC hype because they believed in what was going on, they got played. They got played, right? And then after they get played, instead of these apes, these so-called apes who believed in the movement, who called out for the MOAS or zero, a lot of these guys sold behind the backs of those who they were encouraging to hold. They made their millions, like TMI, right? Like Short the Vix, and so on and so on. You guys hear me say this over.
Use the left 2 lanes to exit left.
You guys hear me say this over and over and over, right? You guys hear me repeat these same names. There's one guy that I have respect for, somewhat, semi-respect.
Exit left to exit 57, State Route 15 South, to I-91 South toward Charter Oak Bridge, New York City.
I got semi-respect.
2.5 miles. Exit right to exit 87, Brainerd Airport, Brainerd Road, Airport Road. Then stay to the right to I-91, US 5, State Route 15 South.
So easy for me to lose my freaking train of thought when I'm trying to think, and I gotta stop and pause to let this GPS talk. But anyway, you know, it's hard to have respect for these guys who sold this to the majority, right? And so you have the review dog, who I have somewhat respect for, because at least towards the end, right, he made a video explaining to the apes that they need to evolve, right, that they need to grow, that they can't just hold like idiots to zero, that there comes a time when you got to take your profits, you got to get your money, right? Now, the review dork, like a lot of these scumbags, changed their channels or deleted them and whatever, right? Or deleted the videos and did a whole 360 on whatever, right? The videos and the whole channel. He did the same. He dropped the review dork name and went with Gabe, the trader, or whatever, right? Now he's still on like some of the apes, but I guess he doesn't regard himself as an ape anymore, because like a lot of the guys who were pumping this nonsense, they no longer stand behind this bullshit, right? Which is funny, right? And so when I say that I have somewhat respect for the review dork, it's because at least he came out with that video explaining that apes should evolve. But the problem with that apology, or explanation that he was trying to say or tell the apes, you know, about...
Use the right lane to exit right.
About
then stay to the right to I-91, US 5, State Route 15 South.
About evolving, right? That message came a little too late, because he had already sold and
exit
become...
right to exit 87. Brainerd Airport, Brainerd Road, Airport Road. Then stay to the right to I-91, US 5, State Route 15 South.
Review dog had already become a millionaire.
Stay to the right to I-91, US 5, State Route 15 South. Then stay to the left to I-91 South toward New Haven.
So I gotta turn the GPS off. It's killing me.
Stay to the left to I-91 South toward New Haven.
So the review dog came with that message a little too late, because he had already sold his shares, become a millionaire. He had already became a millionaire. Didn't tell anybody, right? As far as I know. I mean, did he? Does anybody know that he went on YouTube, made a video, said, hey guys, I know I've been saying to hold, but I sold my shares along with 4 other guys, including Trey's Trades, right? And, you know, you guys should do the same, or you guys should hold if you want or sell if you like, right? Did he make a video saying that, or did he sell behind everybody's backs while saying that this was going to squeeze, or that it was going to MOAS, that AMC was going to squeeze or
Continue
MOAS?
straight for 15.3 miles to exit 18. I-691 West, Meriden, Waterbury.
Right? And so you see all of these guys, and I know I'm like, I don't know how many years late, right? Because I've been battling these scumbags on YouTube for a long time. So it's hard for me to put a hit piece on everybody, right? I can't do it. And so I got to get caught up. But the fact that these guys who were diehard apes, who fooled the majority of followers, right? This is why they don't get the views they once did. They don't get the views anymore. They lost their subscribers. They lost their followers. But there's a sucker born every minute. And because there's a sucker born every minute, they end up eventually regaining some followings and sponsors, and continue to sell new snake oil to unsuspecting idiots, right? And I'm sorry that I am calling people idiots, because, you know, nobody wants to get scammed. Nobody wants to get robbed. But the fact is that you've heard both sides of the story. You've heard people telling you that AMC was going to squeeze. And then you heard people like me telling you that they were lying to you. And you refuse to hear the truth. You refuse to see it, even when it was in front of your face. And so now that AMC is at its lowest in history, 99 cents, 98 cents per share. And then you got fucking scumbags on YouTube continuing to pump this. Bro, it's sickening. It just makes no sense. And then when you see the amount of views that these guys continue to get, right? The ones who continue to pump AMC, it's ridiculous. And you compare the views to those who stopped pumping AMC, and what happens? Their views tank. Like Frankie Muhammad's, like TMI's, right? Now that he's changed his whole channel and deleted all his AMC content, right? He doesn't get the same amount of views. The same thing with Short the Vix with his new channel. Deleted all his AMC videos. Bro, y'all people don't get it. I mean, how many years have to go back? How many years have to go by before you guys start to add up all the amount of apes, all the amount of AMC pumpers who have deleted their channels or who continue to delete their channels or their content, including one of the guys who I respected, what's his name? Mike from Owning the Float, who Marantz just called a piece of shit on his channel a few days ago because I don't know for what. I don't know their beef or what's going on. All I know is that Owning the Float, Mike was on live with Marantz and they seemed to get along and everything seemed to be cool. But you know how Marantz is. If you're not sucking Ryan Cohen's balls, then he ain't on your side. So I don't know what their beef is right now, right? So apparently, you know, Marantz called him a piece of shit. So after that, I decided to, you know, go back and see what's going on with Mike Owning the Float. And behold, I don't know how long it's been. I just found out today that he deleted all his content, all his AMC content. Listen, if you have nothing to hide, right? And if you have nothing to, no reason to believe that you didn't deceive anyone or that you didn't lie to anyone, why delete all your content? Why delete it? You have millions, if not hundreds of thousands of views per video. You've made your money. You've continued to, you know, you continue to sell the bullshit even when people were telling you, no, it's not true. Now that you find out, I guess, you know, Mike from Owning the Float, you delete all your content. And that to me seems shady. That's suspect. Now, I got a lot of respect for you, Mike, because after watching you on, you know, with Marantz, and after watching and listening to your videos, after you asked Adam Aaron the questions you did, I tell you, that was really impressive. I like the way you set it up. You know, I didn't like Adam Aaron's answer, but because of you, we all got to see. I already knew, but when I say we, I mean everyone who's been following this bullshit play got to see the truth, right? That, bro, people are getting scammed. They're getting hustled, right? Regardless of how it's being done. People have been saying this. And then after you saw this, you realized, and then you came out with your video saying, hey, listen, I don't know, man. This sounds suspicious. And it seemed to me like you were coming along and telling people what you thought was now the truth about the MOAS, AMC, and this whole squeeze thing, Adam Aaron, and the whole nine, right? And Project Popcorn, right? But now I go back to your channel and I don't see any evidence of AMC, any evidence of any videos recanting anything you said about AMC. Because listen, one thing I appreciate about the Review Dork, at least, is that even though he changed his name, even though you won't see any AMC videos on his channel, The last video, as far as I know, was the one I saw was when he was telling the apes, you guys need to evolve. In other words, I'm out of here. That's how I took it.
Ahead.
In other words, when Review Dog told the apes, hey, you guys got to evolve, to me, he was saying I'm out of here because he was getting a lot of hate. And I don't blame people for giving him hate because he got paid. He got paid. It's not cool that y'all were telling everybody to hold while lying, right? And so, you know, going back to Mike, right? He made a video just like the Review Dog. And I don't know if he made a few. He made more than one, explaining to him, to everyone why he believed that the MOAS was not going to happen, why it was sabotaged. And I respected that. But what I don't respect is that if I go back onto your channel and I don't see anything at all, that or your previous videos pumping AMC, because it looks to me like you're being shady. Anyone who does this, to me, is being shady, right? Because it's like everyone who pumped this is trying to, you know, erase all history of themselves pumping AMC, as if though this whole nonsense never existed for them and their followers. Because let me tell you, people, it's only a matter of time. Phil For Real did the same thing. Just think about this, right? These pieces of shit, including Phil For Real. Bro, I gotta start making hit pieces on these guys. Phil For Real, Big Time 8, right? Low Life, of course, scammed everybody. Where you at now, Phil? You're not so real, right? TMI, Review Dog, Short the Vix, Trace Trades, Roaring Kitty. Hey, how you people feel now? GME followers, idiots. I mean, you don't think Roaring Kitty is part of the same crew as the apes? You don't think that he was telling you the same thing everyone else was saying about AMC, and just like those who deleted all of their AMC and disappeared, he may still have his channel. He may still have not deleted any of his content. He doesn't have to. You know why? Because everything he said was going to happen happened. Everyone knew he cashed out. Everyone knew he got his money. He didn't seem to lie or deceive anyone, as far as I know, unless anybody has more information that I don't know about, because I didn't follow him like that, right? I knew he was in on it, and then I heard when he sold and he became a millionaire. I don't know how much he made, some 40, 50 million off the play, right? He left, people, he's gone. And just like these AMC stragglers who are still left behind, or these new scumbags who come along thinking that they're going to feed off of other people's research, who laid down the foundation, right, for this scam, who got their money, took their bags and left. They want to come in here and fill those gaps, right, that are missing, so that they can continue to replenish or regain those lost subscribers from those other idiots, right? Because you still have idiots who want and who still think and believe that AMC is going to the moon. Just go on YouTube and type in AMC squeeze. Bro, it's fucking ridiculous. It's a joke. And so I still have to post a couple of more videos after this one coming at Phil For Real. You know, I have to come at people individually. I can't just throw them all in. I can't bunch them all into one video, because they need to see this. They need to hear this. They need to respond to me when I ask them, hey, where you at, Phil For Real? Where you at, TMI? Where you at, Short the Vix? Where you at, guys? Rico, all you guys who pump this bullshit, all of you guys who claim to be apes, who lied to the masses, who were told that y'all were a bunch of shills and all this bullshit, right? Because no one ever heard the word shill until they tuned into Trey's Trades. No one ever heard the word FUD until they tuned into Trey's Trades. No one ever heard MOAS. No one ever heard anything, right? YOLO, nothing, right? And you had all these YouTubers throwing these words out, right? Like FUD and shill, to anyone and everyone who tried to say, hey, listen, you guys need to be careful with this play. Get your money. Boy, they came at me really fast, really hard, but look at them now. Look at them now. And so when I make videos like these, and I put a hit piece on people like Donahue George or Morant's friends or anyone else, I do it because I know what I'm talking about. I was here from the beginning. I was here before Morant's. Okay? I was here before the squeeze, before AMC, before GME, and before Dogecoin. And so I was here when John Wick sniping, Lord X Nemesis, Teddy Zane, Ape Father, Lou versus Wall Street, and a few other guys. You had the Angry Investor, you had the Gravy Seal. He changed his name, so I don't know what he's at now, or what he goes by now. You know, you had these real apes, you had these real followers of AMC, right, who believed in the play, because I believed in it. I believed in it. I never said, if you watch my first videos about AMC, I think I posted 2 videos that I spoke about AMC squeezing and getting your money, because AMC squeezed. The problem is that people didn't get their money, and they didn't get their money because they bought into the bullshit that it was going to MOAS, the mother of all short squeezes. It wasn't enough that it short squeezed already. It wasn't enough that, what do you call it, GME had already squeezed, and it wasn't enough that just a few weeks before that, Dogecoin had already squeezed, and everybody saw the patterns. GME squeezed, and then it tanked the next day. Dogecoin squeezed, and then it tanked the next day. AMC squeezed, and then what happened? It tanked the very next day. And these motherfuckers, these idiots who were selling you on MOAS, didn't see the patterns? Yeah, they saw the patterns. They got paid in the first squeeze of GME, on the second squeeze of Dogecoin, and then on the third squeeze on AMC, while continuing to sell you the bullshit about a MOAS and telling you to hold and hold and hold. And so now when you go on their channels, now you got this big time producer, Phil For Real, producing like he always did, but he ain't producing no more AMC videos. What happened? Phil For Real, big time producer, you don't want to produce no more AMC videos? See, people? Y'all got played, man. Y'all got played. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys. I made a call on AMC. I made a call that by the summer, it will go up to $2. I made that call not because I believe it will go up to $2. I made that call because I watch patterns, right? I know the odds of AMC being delisted right now is 50-50, right? Because if it stays below $1 for 30 days, there's a possibility that it will be delisted. Now, in order for AMC not to get delisted, it has to go up to over $1, right? It has to go up over $1. So I had an option. I had the option to buy a $1.50 call or a $2 call. I chose the $2 call. What the heck? You know, hey, it's AMC. If I hit it big. If I don't, not a major call, right? So, because that's how I play, right? The call hits, I cash out, I get my money, and I move on. I don't sell bullshit. I don't sell MOASs. I get my money and I leave. I tell people all the time, I'm lucky if I got 20 years to live, right? At my age. I'm going to get my money. I'm going to make my money. I'm going to take my money and I'm going to spend my money. And I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to allow anybody on YouTube to manipulate what I do with my shares, my stocks, my money, how I live my life, unless they pay my bills. And no one on YouTube does that for me. So I'm going to do what I want to do with my money and my stocks, right? And so, you know, it's disappointing to me. Not surprising. I'm not shocked. And this is why I'm going back to all of these guys who I was talking shit about for the past 7 years, right? Because I've been talking about these guys for a long time. Right? It may not be 7. I may have started posting videos at I don't know. I've had my channel for a while, but anyway. Listen, people. Right now, I am watching oil. I've been watching oil since USO was at $90 a share. And since this other stock, I keep forgetting the name because I didn't buy into it. I'm just watching it. It's an oil stock. It was at $70. Today it's at $95. It's slowly climbing. I believe oil will continue to climb. And so that's what I'm in. I bend with the trend. That's what traders do, right? I'm not a big time trader. If I want to make some change, I'll put some money in a certain stock that I believe I can flip. And if it flips, it flips. If it doesn't, I hold until I can at least regain my money or gain profits. If I don't believe the stock is going to do well, I just take my money out. If I have to take a small hit, I'll take a small hit, 10%, 15%, and then put it somewhere else where I might recover that 10 or 15% loss. Not a big deal. That's how you trade, people. Now, if you're a long-time investor, keep your money into the stocks that you're long-term invested in, especially stocks that pay dividends. Who wants to put their money in a bank that's not going to pay them any interest? Nobody. Hell, I had money in a bank account for 12 years, and after 12 years, my interest was $12. Bro, I could have put my money into a stock that pays dividends for 6 months and gained some 6%. There are oil stocks that pay 6% on dividends, bro.
Turn left.
I mean, 6% dividends is more than interest paid by a bank. And so I don't understand why anyone would try to seduce anybody with a YouTube channel, right, to buy into stocks that don't pay dividends like AMC or GME unless it's for a short squeeze, which already took place and you people missed out on. And so, you know, this is it for now, guys. I've been on
A quarter of a mile. Turn right.
I've been on for long enough, almost 30 minutes. And so I appreciate you people for watching. Have a good day.
1 mile. Turn right.
Have a good day, people. And have a good night. I just bit my lip. I'm always biting myself. This is why I have
Turn
braces. My jaw has gotten so much better. I used to bite my cheeks, my lips, my tongue. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even talk. My jaw was so out of place, right? So it's getting a lot better. I don't bite myself as much, but every now and then I do catch myself. So thanks again, people, for watching. Have a good day and have a good night.
A quarter of a mile.